idea for a new intro.
All right.
It's just an intro where I talk about having an idea for a new intro.
Oh, so then we can just follow that up by like saying, we're just having this conversation and then welcome to the midweek wrap up.
Yeah, essentially, inspired by the fact that NXT had a new intro.
It's true.
Yeah.
It did.
Welcome to the midweek wrap up.
Good job. Brand new look for NXT, a new theme song, new versus screen, some new logos, all kinds of stuff, a new era for NXT. And
probably not what Bobby Roode had in mind.
Probably not.
For the glorious NXT, but...
Probably. I hope he comes out next week and he just complains about how everything looks and the song is wrong and everything. This is not what I wanted for my NXT.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a very squashy NXT tonight, but it was
very straightforward.
It was squashy in a good way.
The thing is, this NXT was used to introduce new characters.
Yes.
In a way that's like...
It was a launching pad into this... Because, with...
Or at least, 3 people who haven't been on NXT TV before.
Yeah. And with the fact that the Revival and Ty and Shinsuke and Elias Sampson have now all moved on from the brand, and we're starting...
Well, Elias Sampson didn't move on from the brand. He got kicked out.
He's still...
Let's make this clear. Elias Sampson did not graduate from anything. He did not succeed.
He dropped out.
He did not succeed from NXT. He did not choose to leave NXT. Cassius Ohno elbowed him out of NXT.
His NXT career was murdered, death by elbow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we started with Aleister Black, who had a not so impressive debut at NXT TakeOver WrestleMania weekend. He would be taking on Corey Hollis, whose tag team partner is, at the time of this taping, was currently in the tapings for the Top Prospect Tournament in Ring of Honor. So Aleister Black looking to make a little bit more of an impression. One move.
He made an impression in the side of Hollis's face.
Just the roundhouse kick known as Black Mass was all it took. Literally, before it even happened, Kevin Hart goes, I hope he wins this match using nothing but his feet. He used one foot and won the match, and it was fucking over. That's
if you don't count him using a hand to hook the leg.
Yeah, exactly. Or the other foot to pivot on for the roundhouse kick. Yeah, it was one and done. And so Aleister Black has made a better name for himself off of this one move, knocking the shit out of Corey Hollis. Than he did an entire match against Andrade.
That was the part where, if you go back and rewatch the match with Andrade, that's the part of the match that Aleister Black excels in, is when he's kicking.
Oh yeah, that's
his deal. He's a great at kicking people guy.
Yeah.
That I don't.
Muay Thai. No, jiu-jitsu.
No, he's got fucking really weird karate background. It's got a weird name.
I'm pretty sure they listed it at TakeOver.
Yeah, Nigel likes to say it because it's a weird. But that's kind of his shtick, is he likes to kick people. He's got that, and he's got that moonsault.
Yeah, we haven't seen
That's
the
really
moonsault.
all he needs.
We haven't been able to see the moonsault quite yet.
No, it'll come.
But yeah,
give it time.
So Aleister Black picking up a win. Despite being on SmackDown, though, Ty Dillinger realizes he has unfinished business in NXT, and he's going to get his final chance. He talked to William Regal. Next week, he faces Eric Young one-on-one and has potentially found a way to keep sanity at bay because he is going to be facing Eric Young inside a steel cage. I believe this is the second steel cage match in NXT? Possibly third?
Third.
Because I know we had Joe and Balor.
And then Joe and Nakamura.
So, yeah. So, third NXT cage match.
And only one did not include Samoa Joe.
Yes. Eric Young...
Little do we know that he shows up as the special referee for this.
That would be weird.
That way he could just keep the record of having been involved in every cage match.
There you go. So
next one, he's just the guy who shuts the door.
He's the guy who used to hold the key. Ty Dillinger versus Eric Young, cage match next week Followed that up with DIY, coming off, unfortunately not being able to pick the tag team titles back up, but taking on a couple of newcomers, Michael Blaze and Dylan Miley. Dylan Miley is massive.
Scary.
It looks like Bruno Sammartino's body with Sami Callihan's head. And
bald.
And then we had, like, Broken Rollins as the NXT fans were chanting. It was like, it looked like Seth Rollins and Tyler Breeze had a baby. But Dylan Miley was literally destroying DIY by himself.
Yeah.
And then decided to, I don't know, did Blaze, like, blind tag himself in?
No.
Like, Dylan made the decision to tag out.
Because he had the advantage on Gargano at the time.
Right. Okay. So, yeah. So, it was a decision to tag in.
And, by the way...
There's a moth attacking me. Ah! That's staying
You alright?
Yeah. That was a little moth flying in my face.
Alright, it's Pencak Silat.
What?
Pencak Silat.
That's his real name?
It's an Indonesian martial art.
Oh, that's... Got it. Got it. That's the style of Aleister Black. Gotcha. Anyway, Dylan Miley decides to tag in Michael Blaze, thinking, okay, we've got this. Blaze has got this. Blaze doesn't have this. Blaze fucked everything up.
Yeah, you know, he had about 10, 15 seconds where he was still in charge, and then he tried to run at Johnny, and Johnny got out of the way, and then they fucked him up.
Yeah, and Miley didn't get back into the ring because the one time that he tried, he received a knee to the face by Tommaso Ciampa. That was followed up by meeting in the middle on Michael Blaze, and DIY picks up the win. So Dylan Miley realizing, well, shit,
Michael B.S. Blaze.
Dylan Miley realizing, well, shit, I probably could have won this match by myself. Yeah. Decides to just destroy Michael Blaze with the claw slam?
Yeah. Picking him up off the ground and then slamming him back down.
Like choke slam, but by the face. That's scary strong, and I'm kind of...
And then the Bane style backbreaker, where he just held him up and then just like brought his knee up, and then like rotation power slam.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see more of this guy.
What I want to see out of this is he's gonna have like this big mean streak where he's beating the crap out of people, and then some babyface like Roderick Strong is gonna turn him over in order to find somebody big enough to challenge the Authors of Pain.
Ooh.
Just a thought.
All right.
I don't write for WWE though, so.
But he should. We had a very interesting post-match interview with Ember Moon, reflecting on her match with Asuka at NXT TakeOver, saying this was supposed to be my moment. This was supposed to be the next step in my career, and it was. I liked what they did because they were breaking down the NXT TakeOver set.
Yeah.
And she kind of walked out and she did almost exactly what she did, and they spliced in scenes of her entrance from TakeOver.
Yeah.
And so had her go down, and then she walked around where the ring would have been, but the floor's been cleaned out and everything. You got janitors cleaning up trash and all kinds of stuff, and it was just her realizing that Asuka stole that moment from her.
Yeah.
And so now, just as Asuka was the one to finally beat her, she plans on being the one to finally beat Asuka.
I smell a rematch.
Yes.
TakeOver Chicago.
I am totally down for that.
There's
because
2 moths in here, I think.
Well, one for you, one for me. Fuck them both.
I don't want to fuck them off.
All right, that's fine. So yeah, Ember Moon definitely planting the seeds for a rematch against Asuka, and we're okay with it. Ruby Riott.
Speaking of things I'd like to... What? Never mind.
Oh, well, Ruby Riott making her singles debut on NXT.
Yeah, this was... I felt so
okay,
emotional
so
during this match.
So it's already cool to see Heidi Lovelace, aka Ruby Riott, on NXT, but how can you make Ruby Riott's singles debut even better? You put her
against a princess.
You put her against Princess Kimberly, aka Kimberly Frankly. You can't just ta-da! This was a present to Kevin Hawk.
It was.
They did this for you, man.
I feel like they did.
So I don't know if this was Kimberly's debut. It could have potentially been.
I mean, it technically was, but wasn't, because like the other time she was on NXT, she didn't have like an introduction.
Yeah,
and,
she was obviously the jobber, but she did have entrance music and everything for
this time. It was an introduction to the character.
Yeah,
she had a full entrance, a full blown spiel.
Yeah,
so she was a thing and got a lot of offense.
Yes, which was helped by the fact that Ruby was doing pretty well until you started hearing this clanging sound from ringside, and little psycho Nikki Cross is slamming the barricade up and down and just watching the match from ringside. Didn't get involved, was just very enamored by Ruby Riot.
Yeah. She was like holding onto the ring post and leaning back and watching the match.
Yeah, she was just totally enthralled in the match. Ruby Riot does end up picking up the win with a little wind up and Zagiri, which is a cool little kick. And then Nikki just kind of walks away, and with
a giant shit-eating grin on her face.
And she stares lovingly into the angry eyes of Ruby Riot.
Yeah, I'm gonna say what I said when we were watching it. I think Nikki Cross has a crush on Ruby Riot.
There's a good chance. I think.
I think initially when Ruby Riot first showed up and started fucking with Sanity, helping the other guys, I think Nikki Cross was initially mad. Because that was the reaction she was getting, and she was getting pissed off that Ruby Riot was, screwing with Sanity's plans.
Right.
Now I think she's realized that there's another female on NXT that's also a little bit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So she maybe not a crush so much as like potential kinship with Ruby Riot.
It's very similar to her initial reaction when she saw Asuka.
Yeah.
And the Women's Championship when she debuted. So when she sees someone that can reach that level of insanity, shut up, it's funny. She's immediately attached to that person. So we'll see where this goes.
I kind of hope that maybe NXT will be the first catalyst in the WWE universe to potentially have a homosexual storyline. Because I feel like if it's going to be on...
if it's going to be anywhere...
since like Billy and Chuck, I guess, but that ended up being a big farce sort of thing.
Because it was Rico who was...
Yeah, and then Billy and Chuck revealed that they were just doing it for attention.
Yeah, it was literally publicity for them. That would be interesting.
I want to see it. They've tried it in TNA.
True, with Angelina Love and Winter, right?
Yeah, and then like even having like the gimmick that Orlando Jordan was using when he was there.
Right.
As being a bisexual character. I just think it's an interesting concept, and I know it's not the first time Heidi Lovelace has been involved in that similar sort of storyline.
This is true.
Her and OVW back in the day.
Yes,
it was her and Taylor Hendricks.
We're gonna move on, because my mind is going a different direction. Our main event was the re-debut of Drew McIntyre taking on Oney Lorcan. These two fucked each other's worlds up.
Yeah.
This was so unbelievably physical. Every move hurt me, and it didn't even happen to me.
No, because one of those moves would have ended you.
All of those moves
I'm just saying one single move with those.
Oh yeah.
Would have ended.
Even one of the slaps, I would have just curled into a ball and cried like a bitch. There's so many things that happen in this match.
Post in the comments below if you want to have a reasonable wrestling fans video of Oney Lorcan slapping him in the face.
You can't put that out there because I can't say that I wouldn't do it. And you're an asshole for making me get to that point. Anyway, Oney and Drew just wrecked each other. It was the most spectacular car wreck I've seen in a long time. Just vicious slaps, the big old elbow that ended up busting Oney Lorcan open.
Yeah. Right before the finish.
Oney dove off the top rope, got caught, and then
that was impressive.
Didn't even touch the ground. Drew just catches him and then flips him around and drops him right on the apron.
Which shows a good amount of coordination between the two of them.
Right.
Which makes me feel like definitely... I mean, when Drew McIntyre first was released from WWE, Oney Lorcan was still on the Independents.
Yeah. Biff Busick was around for a while before...
So I'm fairly certain they've crossed paths.
Oh, yeah.
In different
absolutely.
places. But yeah, that catch was great because that was Oney's first time getting major offense during a match.
Yeah,
because he did a couple European uppercuts that knocked.
Yeah, and then he
Drew out of the ring,
and then he dove through the ropes, and then got back in, and then went to the top rope, and then that was the end.
Yeah, the catch, and then when Drew caught him, Oney already had his hands in the posting position.
Yeah.
And it worked so well.
Yeah.
Into a gut wrench slam on the apron.
And then also the reverse Alabama slam.
Yeah.
Intense move. And then that was followed up by the big elbow, which was then followed up by the running pump kick. And
the Alabama slam was followed up by Oney grabbing Drew by the beard and trying to make him his bitch.
Oh yeah, that was the slap fest. That was just that's
what they sounded like.
That's off of his face. It was his face, and it hurt me. It made me want to cry. It was hard to watch, but insane at the same time. Drew McIntyre picks up the win with that running pump kick. I feel bad for Oney because he was getting a little bit of a push, and now all of a sudden Drew's just like, nope, pushed him over. Might have got him over with the amount
I'm hoping NXT's now sort of evolved a little bit. I want to see a run between Oney versus Bobby Roode
for the championship, or just
maybe one or two non-title matches.
Okay.
Maybe he gets a quick win on Bobby Roode one week, and then they do a match the next week. If he beats Bobby Roode, he gets a title shot. Bobby Roode wins that one, sort of thing.
Okay.
Because despite the fact that NXT is still primarily way more fast-paced and energetic and exciting,
right,
we're getting an influx of a lot larger people in NXT now. Aleister Black isn't huge. But he's bigger than a lot of the NXT guys, and then if you take into consideration the other two big new signees, Cassius Ohno returning and Drew McIntyre coming to NXT, those guys are both significantly bigger than Aleister Black.
And then the debut of Dylan Miley.
Yeah, who's not the tallest guy in the world, but is ginormo, and way more intimidating than half of anybody on the roster.
Yeah,
and it's NXT's starting to transform, and especially because the tag team champions right now are the Authors of Pain.
Yeah. And that's, most people will be like, oh, yeah, they're going back to the regular WWE style. They're signing all these big guys. But then you got to keep in mind, you still have people like Oney Lorcan and Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
And,
Bobby Roode.
Yeah. You have, these medium-sized guys. You don't have all these large guys. And then you have small people like Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. You don't have all... It's a very mixed bag now with NXT.
The big difference is how the fact that when push comes to shove, guys like Gargano and Ciampa can fight with guys like Chris Hero and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
And on the same opposite of the spectrum, guys like Chris Hero and Drew McIntyre can wrestle the same with the same intensity and pace as Ciampa and Gargano. So it's we've got this influx of new guys who are, yes, bigger, but they're not going to be detrimental at all to the roster.
Yeah. It's a very interesting landscape that NXT has right now.
Yeah.
But Drew finishes up with a quick little promo at the end saying he could have signed anywhere in the world. He's got the raw talent. He can put the smackdown on anybody, but he wanted to be in NXT. Short, sweet, to the point. Drew
Let's be honest,
McIntyre.
I think just about any independent person would rather be on NXT than Raw or SmackDown.
I think most
at this point.
I think most anyone from Raw and SmackDown will want to be on NXT as well. But not to say Raw and SmackDown are bad. NXT's just got a little bit more going for it.
I know Finn still wants to be on NXT.
Yeah, because he actually came out for our final segment, which was a farewell to Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke had a really great promo talking about his year in NXT.
It's essentially an NXT hype promo.
Yeah, because NXT needs more hype. So yeah, just saying goodbye to NXT, thanking the crowd for being crazy, thanking all the superstars, the coaches, and everything. Good send off for him. The whole roster was up on the stage. Crowd singing his theme song. Finn made an appearance. It wasn't on TV, but Triple H was there as well. There's fan footage of that somewhere. So yeah, it was cool to see Shinsuke be able to say goodbye to everybody. Nice little cap off. But then we've got ourselves a cage match next week, which will be Ty Dillinger's send off.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. Was like Shinsuke's the first guy to have like a real send off like this.
Oh, Finn got one. Because Finn got one, and I think Finn was the only one.
Yeah, because normally the way when somebody's like going to the main roster, it's usually like Catalyst. You can tell when they lose like a big high profile match.
Right. Yeah.
And then like the whole rest of the crowd, like you get this feeling like, okay, if so and so doesn't win this match, this is probably the last match they're gonna have on NXT.
Yeah.
Like the first one it comes off to the top of my head is Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
When he fought Nakamura.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the match, the crowd starts like the "Thank you, Sammy" chants, stuff like that.
Bailey too, when she lost to Asuka. That was kind of her final moment too. Yeah. I can imagine Ty will probably get something small. I imagine Eric Young is going to be winning next week.
You think?
That's in my head that seems like the logical step. Just because I don't think Ty is going to go to SmackDown and leave on putting someone down who's trying to build themselves up in NXT.
Yeah.
I mean, not like it would hurt Eric Young.
I honestly want to it makes sense to have Eric Young win that match. I want to see Ty Dillinger win.
Really?
I want to see it on the merit that Ty Dillinger hasn't had a standout victory on NXT. So
Good
bringing
point.
him back to give him that moment, giving him, essentially, to token the phrase, the WrestleMania moment. Ty Dillinger needs to have his big NXT win.
That's a good
Because
point.
generally
I can
he's used to make everyone else look good.
Right.
Because he's one of those guys. He's like Rob Van Dam or a Carlito, somebody who can really work, but is like 99.9% of the time used to put somebody else over.
It's true. So yeah, I guess it probably would benefit him more because Eric would have more time to really put himself over, especially as the leader of Sanity. So, I don't know. We will find out next week. But for now, guys, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, and comment, and subscribe.
Hit up all that social media down in the description.
There are so many of those links.
Be sure to check out the podcast with this review, along with the Indie News, Raw Review, and Tuesday Night Live every single week over on SoundCloud.
That SoundCloud link is also in the description.
Exactly. Also in the description is the link to Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
That's reasonable to W.
Like wrestling, where we have brand new videos showing up every single day, as often as we can put them out. My What Colt's Wondering this week is going to be, I'm putting a lot more thought into it this time, so it'll be up a little later, but it will be coming. Tomorrow,
You're wondering more.
Yes, I'm wondering more. I'm putting more thought into my wondering,
Right.
if that makes sense. There will
Just
also
don't wander too far.
I won't wander too far. There will also be another Fantasy Warfare popping up, 2 out of 3 falls, Matt Hardy versus Diamond Dallas Page, followed by a drink inspired by soon-to-be mayor, hopefully, potentially, Kane, the Big Red Machine on the Cocktail Hour, coming out on Friday. So be sure to check out all those videos. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next. We're always the lost with this one.
No one to say bad things about on NXT.
Good. Good fucking job, NXT.
Thank you, Shinsuke.